My friend Anna called me and asked if I could come over babysitting job for her. Anna had the lead in a play, and she had to go to dress rehearsal. I can't babysit, she moaned in the phone. They'll give away my part if I skip rehearsal. Anna and I both knew that the theater teacher, Mr. Olson, wouldn't give her a part to someone else if she missed rehearsal. Anna was overly dramatic about everything. Her dream was to go to a nearby college that was well known for its TV/radio programming. The college had its own TV station, and Anna was convinced that if she would get the part in one of them, she'd be discovered by a big Hollywood agent. I never met the family that Anna was supposed to babysit for, but I agreed to go to the job. You owe me big time, I told her as she gave me the name, address, and phone number. The Cullens were new in town. They had a formal event to go to and needed someone to watch their 7-year-old daughter, Emma, for a few hours. They were willing to pay me $50, and they promised to be home before midnight. Emma was a sweet little girl. She had curly blonde hair and big blue eyes. She was just learning to read, and after her parents left for the night, we settled on the couch with a Jeannie B. Jones book. Emma was very adamant that I not help her in any way. Mommy says I had to sound it out, she said matter-of-factly. After finishing the book, I put Emma to bed and then went back downstairs to watch TV. I found a nature documentary about meerkats. Hey, it was either meerkats or the Kardashians, and I started to watch. I was only 15 minutes in when the TV suddenly lost its signal. The screen filled with white static. I flipped, confused, about the channels when Emma came down to the room, dragging along her blankie. There's a monster outside my room, she said in a small, shaky voice. Her face was pale, and I noticed that she was shivering. I turned and glanced at the window behind me. The waning moon was half hidden by the clouds, but it was still light enough for me to check the backyard. The Cullens' backyard was large and bordered on a thickly wooded area. A knee-high stone fence separated the yard from the woods. There was a small plastic playhouse in the center of the yard. Something was standing next to it. It stood on 2 legs, like a person, but seemed too tall and dangly. Its legs were abnormally long. I didn't get a good look at it as I turned and darted into the woods, stepping over the fence as if it was nothing, like it was never even there. I didn't want to believe it, but I'd seen. Hell, if Emma hadn't started screaming, I think I would have been able to convince myself that I was just imagining it. I grabbed Emma, pulling her in close to me and tried to hush her. My mind was racing, but I knew one thing. I needed to call the police. The TV suddenly flicked back on. The screen showed Emma's empty bedroom, as if it was a camera had been set outside in her closed bedroom door. A low, gravelly voice spoke. "We are coming." The voice so soft and raspy, as if whoever was speaking was trying to whisper and shout at the same time. I jerked away from the television, scooping Emma up in my arms as I did so. She was screaming again, burying her face into my shoulder. I remembered seeing a landline in the den, so I ran to the next room. I picked up the phone, but couldn't hear anything. Whatever was fucking with me had somehow cut the power lines to the phone. Emma clung to me, pressing her face into my leg and screaming hysterically. Somehow, above Emma's shrills and wails, I heard a faint tapping sound coming from behind me. I turned. The thing from the backyard was standing right outside the window. It had stooped down and was peering in through the window. Well, I think it was peering in. It didn't have a face. It had a black, greenish-gray concave, as its face had been removed out with an ice cream scoop. It was completely and totally smooth and featureless. I didn't pick Emma up this time. I grabbed her waist instead. With a free hand, I grabbed a poker from alongside the fireplace. I ran, pulling Emma along behind me. I had to find a safe place to hide Emma, a place without windows. The thing in the yard could look through. We wound up back in the living room, and I opened up the closet door. The closet held neatly labeled boxes containing toys and stuffed animals. There was just enough space for a frightened little girl to stand in the back. I pushed Emma into the closet. "You have to be brave," I told her. "You have to stay in here and be very quiet and very brave." I didn't really have a sort of plan. I could hear something scraping against the side of the house. The thing in the yard was scratching at the house, clawing at the siding. My mind was racing a mile a minute. I didn't seem to hang on to a solid thought. Are you freaked out?" stammered Emma. "It's gonna be okay," I told her. "Stay here and be quiet." I think she was about to say more, but I shut the closet door. I turned to the sliding glass door that led to the backyard. The thing was walking away from the window. It was coming towards me. It lumbered along slowly, moving in sharp, jerky movements. Its arms swung by its side. They looked absurdly short in comparison to its legs. Without thinking, I opened up the sliding glass door. The thing stopped, tilting its head at me questioningly. It was as if it hadn't expected me to come out of the house. I ran towards it, swinging the fireplace poker as hard as I could. There was a thick, crunching sound as the poker collided with the thing's leg. The legs buckled immediately, snapping backwards. The thing toppled, shrieking and squealing as it fell. It landed hard on what I guess was its rear end. It flailed its arms at me, but I swung the poker again. I felt it collide with the spot of the thing's face should have been. The thing stopped screaming and toppled backwards, slumping it to the ground. The backyard suddenly filled up with light. My heart was pounding and adrenaline had flooded my body. For a brief moment, I thought the sun had come up. I stumbled back, blinking. I dropped the poker without fully realizing it. People were pouring out of the woods, shouting and screaming at me. My legs gave out, and the next thing I know, I was sitting on the ground. A woman wearing jeans and a t-shirt was screaming at me. She had a set of chunky yellow headphones dangling around her neck, and it looked like a handheld radio clipped from her belt. At first, I thought it was a Walkman. She was waving her arms, shouting, even though I could hear her perfectly. I couldn't seem to understand. "What have you done?" she screamed. "It's a show. It's a goddamn show, you fucking idiot." Someone pulled the yelling woman away from me. I looked around. The backyard was full of people. Some of the people were holding cameras and boom mics. Anne was there. She was crying. Great. Heavy sobs wrecking her body. I remember thinking that she should have been in a play practice. A man offered me his hand and pulled me to my feet. The man explained that a bunch of seniors at the college were filming a TV show for their finals project. It was a prank show, like on the Sci-Fi Channel used to air years ago. Someone would call in and suggest a scary prank to play on their friend or family member. The prank would be videotaped, and then the whole thing would be broadcasted on a TV show. They had actually filmed a few episodes already. One showed a boy peeing his pants when a creepy-looking clown popped out of his locker, and another showed a girl scream as a masked man with a rubber machete chased her down the parking lot. Anna had been called in and pitched a prank to play on me. She would send me a funny babysitting gig, and then a guy dressed up like Slender Man would terrorize me. Emma and the Collins were all actors. Anna had thought that she could impress the students that they'd let her have a small recurring role in the show. The man I attacked with the poker was named Jude Plaskett. He had been walking on stilts. My first blow had been broken at stilts, but left him basically unarmed. My second blow put him in a coma. He didn't wake up. There was some small talk about filming charges against me. Luckily, that never happened. I'd been terrified out of my mind and had been convinced that the monster was about both myself and the child I was supposed to be babysitting. Jude's family wound up suing the college and his classmates. This happened a little over a week ago. Anne still won't talk to me. She's furious that I ruined her shot of fame on TV. I'm pretty mad that she met up with some god-awful prank in the first place. I couldn't sleep at night. I kept thinking about the horrendous crunching sound that the poker made when it collided with Jude's face. And lately, I keep thinking that there's something in the backyard. I keep waking up with the sound of bushes and trees rustling. When I go out to the window, I don't see anything. I don't know what I keep expecting to see. I really don't want to.